When you mention currency, I mean, I think that's a really powerful kind of concept framework for people to play with. If you were talking to somebody, what questions would you suggest they ask themselves? Like, what would be the process that you would recommend that somebody should go through to maybe uncover what the potential currency or what the most quote unquote kind of profitable currency could be for them?
Yeah, so I think you can start by asking it of yourself. And I would just do things like, looking at what are some of the skills I have, what's some of the knowledge I have, what's my personality. So you can go through a reflection exercise about yourself. And each time you list something, I always say, what, so what, now what? So when you say, well, I know how to program in Python, like, okay, that's nice. What's the so what of that? Well, so I can do this, or I can help to bridge communication between these people and these people who don't normally, talk to each other well. Or so get to the so what, and then get to the now what. Okay, so who could I talk to about that? Where could I apply it? What might I need to add to that to make it really powerful? That sort of thing. So you can go through that yourself. I would say my experience in talking to people about this concept is that you won't get a full answer by doing that. We're not very good we're like fish in the water we swim in, right? We don't even know it's there. So once you do that, I would ask the same questions of someone else. When you think about me, when you think about what I would bring to an organization. So, sometimes we have people, I was talking to somebody about it recently, and they had lots of global experience, and they just took that for granted. And I said, well, here's a
Yep.
company where all that work you did and helping. So this is somebody who worked in a massive, massive technology firm, and she was in HR, and she had led a project on getting work moved to the best geography to do it in. So how do we get more of our engineers in India, and how do we understand? She'd done all this global work, and it was in HR, but she had this global business expertise that was a real currency. And she just thought about it as, I don't know, it's just a project I did. So give it to somebody else and ask them those questions as well. What do you know about me? What's the value of that? How could I frame it? And then the now what? What would I have to do to turn that into a currency?
Yeah, no, I think that's really powerful. It reminds me of an exercise that one of our early coaches gave us, which was to email, I think it was like 10 or 15 different people that we had relationships with, and ask them, in my case, like what do you know me best for? What do you think I'm best at? And it was interesting to get back those replies from people, because then you start looking for the common threads. It's not just like the one-offs, but what are multiple people saying that is the same? And
Yeah.
then, are you actually leveraging and communicating those? And I think oftentimes we don't. So the example you just share right now is a really great one.
Yeah,
So
and then
let's fast. Go ahead.
asking them, and who do you know who values that? Like, don't miss the second half of the question, right? Where
Mm,
is that a currency? Because they
nice.
also are more likely to know places that who would really value that, and you might never have thought of that. Really, that
Yeah.
would be valuable to them. So ask the follow up as well.
No, I
Sorry.
think that's a really great point, Leanne, that like so often we people don't ask that next question. You get some information, you go, okay, great, like you kind of think about it, but don't act on it. And so from like a marketing perspective, right, you might do some outreach to get in front of somebody, but if you don't follow up, you're missing, the majority of the opportunities. So I think that's a really great example there.